So I mentioned that there can be a cross-certification setup, and a lot of times that's when, let's say that two companies have their own internal PKIs, because you can have your own PKI within your company. The company can choose to have its own certificate authority, which it has to maintain, or the company can just have the RA and maintain that and use an external CA like Entrust or VeriSign or one of those. So there's companies that provide the service specifically of creating digital certificates. Of course, you have to pay for those digital certificates. So within a company, you can decide on the architecture if the CA is going to be internal, the RA will then be internal, and then you'll send out and control your own certificates. Or you can have an RA, which means that the registration goes through your RA, and then the request goes out to the CA that's outside your company. So it's up to the organization. A lot of times the decisions come down to cost of the certificates and the ability to have the skill set to properly protect that CA, since that's the trust. We all trust that CA, and if it's compromised, we don't know what to trust. The digital certificates can't be trusted anymore. So in situations where there's two companies that have their own PKIs set up individually, and they want to be able to communicate to each other through trust and secure methods, then the two root CAs of the PKIs can exchange certificates, so there's a mutual trust between those certificate authorities. Now that just means that a user in one company can directly communicate with a user in another company, and they'll validate each other's certificates. So company A, if there's not this mutual trust between the certificate authority, if I got a digital certificate from a user in another company, I'll go through the validation process, but it'll be developed by a certificate authority that I don't trust. So I wouldn't be able to necessarily communicate with that individual. But when a cross-certification arrangement's set up, when somebody from that other company sends over their digital certificate, because there's a trust between our companies, my system can now trust that digital certificate, and we can communicate with encryption and digital signatures.